Hey everyone, you're listening to Nerd Boys Comic Blog. I'm Marco.
And I'm Andrea.
And today we're talking about the most anticipated movie of the year, Ferdinand, starring John Cena as a CGI bull. So Andrea, what'd you think about Ferdinand?
What?
Okay. No, we're actually here to talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I didn't see that coming, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit.
I kind of just blindsided you right there.
Yeah.
No, but we're kind of going to do a...
I didn't see it coming. No.
Like John Cena?
Yeah.
I get it. Get it.
Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to try and keep this spoiler-free for maybe like 3 to 5 minutes, and then from there on out, we're going to do a lot of spoilers, because it's hard to talk about the points of this movie without going into deep spoilers. So if you're not really interested in that, or you haven't seen the movie yet, you might want to, I don't know, click off after maybe 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try my hardest to be spoiler-free. It's really complicated for me, guys.
Yeah. Well, do you want to just give me your take on the movie? How you felt about it?
There's just... there was some things that were really good and some things I was really disappointed in. One thing, I don't know if this is spoiler-free, right? Saying that I felt like it didn't pass that test.
The Bechdel test?
Yes, that one.
Most movies don't pass the Bechdel test.
But I mean, Force Awakens did.
Yeah, true.
And I think Rogue One might have had a little bit of it. Maybe?
There's more than just Jin in Rogue One?
No.
Oh, there's Mon Mothma, maybe, I don't know. But, yeah.
I felt like the males dominated the movie.
But at the same time, there's a lot of, shots of strong female pilots. And
yeah. It felt like they were really cool. I'm not saying that there won't be a lot of, people loving these females. I mean, I love them. But I felt like at one point, every single one of them irritated me.
Yeah, kind of.
You felt one way towards them at the beginning, and then you go, oh, that's why.
Yeah. So this is something that current Star Wars is really focusing on. I guess they're trying to compensate for the originals not having that many women. And it's just putting a bunch of female background characters and pilots and diplomats. Yeah. And it's just you have a shot that focuses on a female pilot or female commander for a few seconds longer just to put more emphasis on it. And it's kind of...
I did see that. I saw a lot of female giving male directions.
Yeah.
That's great, but pointless.
Kind of, especially in this movie.
Yeah.
Because everyone is not listening to anyone's directions at all.
Yeah, it's just it made me feel more disappointed than actually oh yeah, female leaders, woo!
Yeah, kind of. I don't really care either way. It's put as many aliens in charge or put as many humans in charge. Just have a resistance that actually listens to each other instead of bickering and fighting amongst each other.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's kind of both sides are pretty much divided and shattered in their own way. Personally, I kind of enjoyed the movie as a whole, but there's many parts that break down pretty easily. I still have mixed feelings about the movie. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. If I had to use one word to describe how I felt right now, it'd be disappointed. Not so much in the filmmaking itself, but just the way the characters went. Finn's plot is totally disposable. I could go without that. It goes on for way too long and really didn't need to be in the movie. Rey and Luke's relationship in this movie could have been expanded upon way more, and it was underutilized. Everything did not go the way you'd expect it to go, and as much as fans really want to see something new and different in Star Wars, they also want to see something that's more of the same, and that was the big criticism of Force Awakens. It was too much like A New Hope, and this one, it was different from anything that came before, and that might be something that hurts this movie, at least in the fans' eyes. The big thing for me that I didn't like about the movie was just how there's so much that happens, but so much that didn't happen. So much goes on in this movie, but so little of it actually matters and counts and means anything. A lot of characters from the previous movie are brought up again, and they really don't have anything to do in this one. I'm looking at Poe, I'm looking at Finn, Captain Phasma. A lot of characters came back, but they didn't really have to do anything. They should have focused more on Kylo Ren, Rey, and Luke. Kylo Ren and Leia have a lot of stuff going on in this movie. Even though Leia's gone for most of it and Kylo Ren's not really in it that much, they are the two best characters of the movie. Luke, the direction that his character went in, I don't want to say I'm super disappointed in it, but I'm worried that this is not really, I don't know, it doesn't break the character for me, it doesn't break anything, and it doesn't ruin Star Wars for me, but at the same time, it's I don't know, I'm still thinking about what could have been for this movie. Rather than the movie that we got, I'm still wondering about the movie we could have had. That's a weird feeling. when you think about it, it's just like not everything works the way it should have.
I felt like that there was, how can I put it? I don't know if director choice or editing choice or anything. I felt like a lot of things did not match up. Like continuation just felt off.
Yeah. A lot of people had this concern that it was going to be too much like The Empire Strikes Back. But I felt like this one's actually too close to Attack of the Clones.
It really felt like one of the old movies. And I mean, like, that's not bad, but it's also not good.
And by old, you mean the prequels or the originals?
The originals.
The originals?
I believe, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a hybrid between original and prequel because there's plenty of parts that George Lucas would have loved, especially the part with like those horse dogs like running through the casino, and then just other things like porgs.
Are you spoiling?
Not really spoiling. You have no context for when that takes place. But just different scenes where like there's a lot of CGI and there's chaos going on in the screen. But it's like it's mess. It's like really messy. The CGI is not messy, but it's like a lot for the eyes to take in. And that's something that George Lucas would have done like 15 years ago.
I'm not talking about that. I think I'm talking about like how the actors were positioned, the filming, like how it was like angled and everything looked like old classic style, and especially like switching from one scene to the next. Do you notice that there was a lot of the rotation screen?
Yeah, but that's always in Star Wars.
I know, but I felt like it was used more in this one. Like it had that old classic vibe to it. Even like the dialogue felt old.
Kind of. It's closer to originals, but at the same time, it's like...
There was also, like, a lot of, like... I don't know. I felt like in Force Awakens, there was more of an agreement with each character. In this one, it felt like everybody just didn't want to listen to anybody. And that felt like a lot like something that would happen in the old ones. There was always a disagreement, and everybody just wandered off and did their own thing.
Kind of, yeah.
But, yeah. But in, like, Force Awakens, it was like... They all had a common goal, was to figure out what is going on with their lives or what direction they're going in.
Yeah, and this one being the second part, it does kind of go for trying to be a little bit darker than The Force Awakens.
I saw that, I guess.
Without really being a copycat of The Empire, it really tries to be for the darker chapter in the saga.
I think that's why Rogue One came out. Like, so they can see what the limit of dark they can go to.
Yeah, how far they could push it. And this one... I know everyone praises Rogue One. I hate Rogue One. But everyone praises Rogue One for being like the war movie of Star Wars. But this one has a lot more elements that make it feel like a war movie. There's higher stakes. There's people actually like...
But it felt off. There's higher stakes and everything felt like there was a resolution towards it. Like it felt calm. I felt calm. Like I'm like, it's going to work out.
Yeah, you always know it's going to work out.
No, but I mean in Rogue One, you already knew the inevitable, I guess. That it was going to end, and that's the tragic part about it. In this, I just felt, in any situation, I felt like no fear for any of them. Maybe the only one I ever felt fear for, or like something happening to, was Luke. Because, of course, this whole movie is revolved around Luke.
Yeah, the emotional core is Luke, and I think we can go past spoilers now. I think that's long enough.
Okay.
Luke is probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he annoyed me. He should've, I guess it's understandable because of what he went through with Ben, but like him like taking out his rage on her and then like going like, here's step 2. Like he's like, I like how he went like, oh, I'm gonna teach you the 3 steps at the break of dawn, blah blah blah, be ready, right? He teaches her step 1. I guess she breaks the rule to step 1, and he's like, yeah, I'm never teaching you, blah, 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 this is bad, I've seen this raw power, blah, 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 right? And then the next day he's like, here's step 2.
He wanted to show her that the Jedi really just are messed up.
It just...
Their way of thinking is not right, because...
I just feel like Skywalkers might just be childish.
Maybe. A little bit. The whole family's kind of messed up in their own way. Every member is kind of like, except for Leia. Leia's perfect for some reason.
Space drama. Yeah, no, but Luke in this movie, he's broken down, he's worn out. He's like, the failures of Ben Kenobi can kind of reflect on him. Because he's the old guy who has a lot of regrets, I guess, and he's been found by this young, very naive character who wants a master. And instead of being like the Obi-Wan who's like, oh yeah, I'll train you, he's being the opposite. He's being the exact opposite of Obi-Wan. Yeah, I guess so. Like, I felt like that was cool. Because normally you always see, like, a Jedi always knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And this one was, like, it kind of showed...
Actually, he was trying to be too much like Yoda. Because Yoda turned Luke away the first time he met him. I don't think he was taking his rage out on Rey. I think he was just trying to teach her a lesson of like, this is not the way we should go. We should strive for something else. The Jedi and their hubris totally made the prequels happen, and we need to avoid that. We also need to like come up with something different. Just because the Jedi end doesn't mean the light side is dead. The light side is its own thing, and the dark side is its own thing. It's not the Sith, it's not the Knights of Ren. It's the light and dark. They both have to exist in their own way. And just because there's no Force users doesn't mean there's no light and dark side to the Force.
Yeah. I mean, I like Luke. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say he wasn't the best part. He was pretty good.
I think this is Mark Hamill's best Luke Skywalker since, well, he hasn't been Luke Skywalker in like 30 years.
What would you say, like, your favorite part of Luke in this movie was? Like, the best scene that he was in?
I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, the fight between him and Kylo Ren.
Was your favorite?
Kind of.
You know what?
No, wait, okay, that whole ending scene with Luke where he meets Leia again, he talks to her, and then he kisses her on the forehead, and then when he goes out to fight Ben Solo, and then his kind of exiting scene where he becomes one with the Force, that's all my favorite part.
I'm not going to say that wasn't my favorite part. That was pretty cool. But at first, when we kept seeing every single scene of Luke, I was just, like, annoyed with him throughout the whole thing. Yeah, I was just like, God damn it, shut up and do something
Because
cool.
he was being too stubborn about it?
Yeah, and then the one moment that I actually felt like I connected, like, I was like, oh my God, was when he felt regret. When he, and then that Ben Solo moment when he was in it and he's like, and then I felt regret for my thoughts. For like, when he turned on the lightsaber and said like, oh, this is dumb. I'm going to kill my own nephew? Like, no, that's not the way to do things. But at that moment when Ben like woke up and saw him, that was like the shittiest feeling ever. And I was like, so much misunderstanding here. No.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the moment where it clicked and I was like, oh, you're not a shitty person, Luke. But kinda you are.
No, he's just flawed. He's a flawed hero. He's not the big...
It's not his fault either.
Yeah.
Like, people didn't teach him correctly. There was nobody to teach him, and Yoda was kind of shitty at times.
Kind of. And there's this big lesson of like the legends of the past really aren't legends. They're just normal people. And Luke is really not the great Jedi Master you think he is. But at the end, he is glorified as being another great Jedi Master. But he's really just a person. He's a person who can make mistakes, and he has flaws. And I think Mark Hamill had a problem with that at first.
With what?
Because he didn't like the way Luke was going in this movie.
Oh, okay.
He was like, I don't like the direction Luke's going in. But I think he liked the idea of the expanded universe. How Luke was made to be like this great hero, and like there's not many flaws to him. And his... Well, he does go to the dark side a few times, but other than that, he was kind of always in control of his emotions and always right. So to now see Luke Skywalker making a big mistake that causes the next Darth Vader in a way, it's interesting. And I really wanted to see a series like that, but I know Mark Hamill's a little bit too old to do that already. But maybe Sebastian Stan or someone could step in and be Luke Skywalker for 3 movies in between 6 and 7.
Yeah. For some reason, the other scene popped in my head with him yelling at Rey, saying, like, you didn't even stop yourself. I'm like, dude, you just threw in a newbie into something.
Yeah.
And you can't expect her to be like, she's curious. She's still young.
Speaking of Rey, a lot of people hate Rey. I don't hate Rey. I just have a few problems with her character right now. Like, Force Awakens, I was fine with her. But
she's naive?
Yeah, Force Awakens was fine because she was new, naive. This one, I'm just like, she's... When I was a kid, I didn't like some aspects of Luke because he was so naive and stubborn. With Rey, I feel like she's too focused on... She's too selfish, first of all. And that's fine, but there has to be a limit to it. And also, she's, I don't know, too powerful. Especially for who she is, which is no one, apparently.
That doesn't mean... Anakin was no one.
But Anakin was one conceived of the Force. He was like Space Jesus.
Okay, so there you go.
Oh, so Rey's Space Jesus now?
I'm just
or
saying.
Space Moses?
Okay, let's put it this way. I think there should always be like that one prodigy every certain time, right? Kind of like the Avatar. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
So one dies, one must be reborn. And so just like there's always bad and good, there will be one powerful, one enough to defeat it.
I think they were going for that too, because Snoke does say like to Kylo Ren's like, oh, his great darkness, there would be a great light to match it. And it wasn't Luke, it was Rey. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird explanation for why Rey is so strong. I can kind of back it up. I can kind of be like, okay, the Force kind of chose this girl to be this powerful. But then at the same time, I'm like...
But if you notice, she wasn't that strong, though.
She's about as strong as Ben, if you think about it.
Snoke was stronger than both of them.
Yeah, apparently Snoke is supposed to be stronger than Palpatine, but he bites the dust pretty soon in this movie.
I mean, it was cool. Like, not gonna lie, that was legit one of the scenes for me. But, yeah, he died pretty quick.
Yeah. Rian Johnson, when he wrote this script, I think he was just trying to throw all of the J.J. Abrams stuff out the window.
Which was dumb.
But
honestly, I like J.J. Abrams' style more than I like this one.
Kind of. Like, it's...
You and I can disagree about it.
Yeah, they have their own pros and cons. And I think he threw out all the mystery box the same way Luke threw out that lightsaber at the beginning. He was just like, I don't want any of this in my movie. I want to kill off Snoke. He's got too much mystery behind him. He's introduced out of nowhere. So I'm going to kill him out of nowhere. Rey, her parents are a big mystery. How about I just throw that out and be like, nah, she comes from nobody. And it doesn't matter who she's from. She could be whoever she wants to be. And it's not her past that defines her, it's her actions in the present. What else was...
There was too much of that, let the past die.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I'm like, dude, I get it. You're the new writer, but calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
You're not the first director to try and do something crazy.
Yeah, no, that would be George Lucas. But I can see why George Lucas likes this movie a lot, because he said it's beautifully made. And
I'm not. No, I'm sorry. I can't.
It goes for his sensibility, though.
I don't care.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's beautifully made. It looks great, but it really goes for George Lucas's sensibilities of everything's really big and CGI, and there's so much going on in the screen.
I want to say I don't like this writer's writing. I don't like his dialogue. I don't like his vibe. I like the angle he was going for scenery and everything. I like the new monster aliens that he put in. There were certain vibes that I liked, but there was a lot of things that I did not understand. Like, why did you have to put those things in? Like, with the fucking Rey and the weird glass thing. Like, dude, that was beautiful, but like, why do we need that?
It's her own cave vision.
It's dumb. She didn't discover anything. She didn't learn anything about herself. She didn't do anything. And it didn't even, like, awake anything in herself. All it did was just make me be more annoyed with the situation.
I'm going to back you up on that, but I'm also going to say it's another thing that goes back to the whole poetry and rhyming thing that George Lucas loves. It reflects the cave vision from episode 5. She's going on like a vision quest, kind of. The same way Luke kind of fought that Vader in the cave and he knocked off the mask and it was himself.
Uh-huh.
Rey was asking, like, who are my parents? And she finds out...
You are your own parent.
No, not that. She finds out she doesn't need her parents to define who she is. She defines who she is.
It still made her... We still ended up having the answer of her parents. We could have just left it at, like, who gives a fuck?
That's what they leave it on. They leave it on Kylo Ren being like, who cares about your parents? They were drunkards.
I did not need an answer from Kylo Ren. Honestly, like, I love Kylo. I'm gonna be one of those girls, y'all can hate me and everything, but Kylo Ren was pretty badass in this. He just reminded me of, like, a fucking raging, I don't know, angry bull, teenager, whatever you want to put it as.
Yeah.
He just looked out of control, and I like that. I like enemies that are out of control, and they don't really have a purpose. They just want to see things fall.
Yeah, no, I think if you're going to have a big Star Wars bad guy, he needs to have purpose.
Why?
It's a series that's...
Okay.
Before you start with that, I'm going to say, Snoke put it perfectly when he said Kylo Ren is just a child in a mask. And then Kylo breaks his mask in response to that and tries to define who he is, being like, I'm going to come out of the shadow of my grandfather or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even going to destroy his own master and come out of his own master's shadow. And he's going to lead the First Order or whatever. But at the same time, he's kind of directionless in this now. He needs... If there was episode 9 and 10, I would be fine with that. Because this seems like the first step to Kylo Ren being more of a bad guy, more of a threat. But if we end at 9, this series, this trilogy, is really only half finished. Because Kylo Ren...
doesn't have a purpose?
Can't be the villain that I think he should be at this point. Like, he needs 2 more movies to be that Darth Vader level threat. And here he's a teenager still, or at least he acts like one. He acts like a kid. He acts like Anakin from episode 2. And I'm sure in episode 9 he'll become Anakin in episode 3, but we'll never get Darth Vader then. We'll just get the beginnings of Darth Vader, if you know what I mean.
No, honestly,
it's gonna be really what? Okay, so
I don't like.
Kylo Ren needs to be.
I get it, but I don't think it's necessary.
And he's also got too much light in him. This movie was all about like he's still got good in him. He's got his father's heart.
That's what I mean. He doesn't have to have one, and that's the interesting part, because he's kind of crazy at this point. He's just going on his own, what I mean is a person without a purpose is a lot more dangerous than somebody with a purpose.
But he's not as driven. Like, a person who's driven has way more of could pose more of a threat to an organization.
The only drive that I know that he could have right now is that he could be, like, stronger than everybody else. I think that's I guess his purpose would be, like, there's somebody else out there who's strong as I am. That only one person can defeat me. Being Rey.
You know what? If it goes in that direction, I'm not going to like this trilogy.
No, whatever.
It's going to be really weird and out of place.
You and I... Okay.
I think JJ could probably pull this back and make it, like...
Better?
I'd
be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I
don't like the direction Kylo Ren's going in.
Because of the director. I'm not gonna...
Not because of the director. Just...
The choices the director made.
Kind of
made everybody just loose.
Yeah. Because...
I felt like the director tried taming these characters into a certain role, made them like go all crazy into whatever, and then set them up in these old past roles, which don't match because their stories have nothing with the old stories.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the fatal flaws of doing more Star Wars movies. People love Star Wars movies that match up with everything that came before.
And
if you have a Star Wars movie that's too different, people are not going to like it. If you have a Star Wars movie that's too similar, people are not going to like it because that's The Force Awakens. So this one, it was kind of like trying to counterbalance the criticisms and also be something different. I don't know.
Well, I'm not too close to the material. I like Star Wars. I've seen all the movies, but I'm not like, I want to cling on to that nostalgia of old things. Yeah.
You have almost no nostalgia for Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
Meanwhile, I'm like...
I mean, my mom, would watch Star Wars repeatedly. I've seen the movies over and over. I can tell you bits and pieces of it. But it wasn't like, I know everything. I'm so connected to this movie. This movie was my childhood.
Yeah. And meanwhile, for me, it's like, I don't like Kylo Ren because he's just not a villain or a threat. And you like Kylo Ren because he's a different kind of villain.
Yeah.
Which I can respect that, I guess. Well, I mean,
Now can I bring up the line that you always tell me?
Sure.
You're too close to the material.
Oh, yeah. Now I know how you feel about Runaways. So, I do like The Last Jedi. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I like it enough to still have criticisms about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of good parts in it, and there was a lot of things that... Why would you do that?
Yeah. Like the casino scene. All of that casino subplot.
I know, there was because of Maz? What's her name?
Maz Kanata.
Yeah. Sent them there to go get a freaking codebreaker, right?
Yeah.
That's what he was. With a blossom or something like that, a flower pen, right?
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, we find the flower pen guy. And they get taken away. And then the character never comes back and we get introduced to another character. And I'm just so deeply confused.
So this goes back to something that you and I were talking about on the way back home. Mm-hmm. And that was Rian Johnson has another trilogy coming up. And that could be another character introduced in that trilogy or maybe episode 9.
I feel like he might be introduced in episode 9. I feel like because there will be, you know how we have, Bill?
Oh, yeah, Hux.
Hux and Kylo are going to have a power struggle, right?
For the First Order.
And I can always imagine Hux, right?
Yeah.
Using that guy to infiltrate Kylo. In a sort of kind of way. Maybe.
Kind of just to go for power and be like, this guy's going to back me up. So it's like the First Order is going to be 2 different sides now? Maybe. Or maybe that guy's just going to be introduced for Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Or maybe.
And he'll be like, this is the bad side of war. I don't know. The casino thing was only introduced just to be like, there's multiple sides to wars and people profit off of war.
And also to help with Rose's backstory. We didn't know anything about Rose. And knowing that she came from mining and being hurt to do things was kind of like the insight on what was going on there in that land.
Yeah, but that feels like it should have been its own movie. Like, Rose feels like a character that should have her own comic or TV show, or maybe like just a spin-off all of her own.
Nobody would have been interested in Rose.
Yeah, I'm still not interested in Rose. I still feel like Rose, well, her sister was cooler because her sister's a bomber, and also, even though she opened up this door to space, she was not sucked into the vacuum of space. That was weird. But I do like the bombing, the idea of those bombers in space.
I felt like a lot of the girls had a lot of power, but it never got used for anything. You could have made Rose the code breaker. You could have.
Yeah,
you could have just sent her inside the ship immediately.
Yeah, cut out the middleman. Make the whole casino point, or the whole casino scene.
You could have explained her story in there.
No, just
like being trapped in a certain situation. You and Finn, like her and Finn being stuck talking about like, how did you get into this? Oh, this is why you're this. This is why you're part of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Her whole story could have been like in a situation inside that ship trying to,
or yeah, just do that, or have Rose and her sister, like her sister could die. Rose could be like this person who's like, oh, I want to do something to get the First Order back in a big bad way, and I'm gonna be the code breaker. I'm gonna help Finn break into this place. Maybe Finn already knows the codes or whatever, and you don't have to do the casino thing. You don't have to do the whole this place is built on slavery and war trading and all this stuff. But then I feel like this whole casino scene was a backdoor pilot to Rian Johnson's next Star Wars movie, or maybe another spin-off or something else, and it just feels pointless and useless, but it ties into the big thing.
Ending.
Yeah, I felt like the script could have gone through another rewrite, cut out the casino part, and just make it that Rose or Finn or Poe or some other new character could have been a code breaker, and we just transport them onto the ship, and that cuts out 30 minutes of the movie.
Honestly, I thought they were gonna like break it open like they did with the Death Star. They all they had to do was shoot at this one little spot and it'll just come collapsing.
Yeah. No, the whole point was to shut down their tracker so that
they can hit light speed.
Yeah.
But if they had done the code breaking and everything, we wouldn't have gotten that cool scene that we got.
Which, oh yeah,
that was like the best scene ever, not gonna lie. It was like, you said it best. You said it was like straight out of what?
Straight out of an anime. Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I felt like I've seen that in something.
Yeah, it seemed very much like a final anime attack, pretty much. It's so weird that how many characters died in this movie, but they're all new characters who died. None of the old...
The blue team died again.
Blue team died again, but none of our new characters from The Force Awakens died. You think Poe's gonna die, he doesn't. You think
I wish he died.
Finn's gonna die, he doesn't. You think Rey's gonna die, Kylo Ren's gonna die, Hux is gonna die. No one died. But those who were introduced in this movie died in this movie or sacrificed themselves in some way. And it was really weird how we needed to introduce new characters to sacrifice themselves instead of just having...
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually upset with the Poe character. Everybody loves this man, but I felt so annoyed. He got more screen time than any other character.
They're pushing him for new Han Solo, I guess. They're pushing him as this like Bruce Campbell type or Harrison Ford type. He reminded me
of the fucking the guy from Rogue One, and I didn't even like that guy either.
Okay. No, I like Poe way more than Cassian Andor.
I'm not saying that I don't like that they're both the same. I'm saying that there were similarities. I'm saying that Poe was too rebellious and I don't like that. And he like thinks he can outshine authority. I mean, I get it. You're a rebel, but you got to be a rebel towards your own rebels.
Yeah, you can't be a rebel without a cause or without a organization.
He's so dumb.
But again, I think Rian Johnson's just like, no, we got to make these characters develop into something else, so we have to add new flaws out of nowhere. Because I don't think Poe was like that in the first one. I don't think Poe was like, I'm the guy who's going to break all the rules and not listen to Leia. I had a weird vibe between him and Leia. Nah, I don't mind it.
It was weird. Nah. Like him holding her hand and everything while she was like slightly in a coma, I guess.
No, like Poe's the son that she wishes she had.
That's fucked up. Hey. She has 2 sons, doesn't she?
No, she has 1 son.
1 son?
Ben Solo's the only son that she has.
I thought she had 3 kids.
In the old universe.
So she only has 1 kid?
Yeah.
In this universe?
Yeah.
What the hell?
The old expanded universe, she has 2 sons, 1 daughter. And the current canon universe, she only has Kylo Ren. So Poe is her surrogate son.
That's dumb.
And Poe also reminds her of her husband, I guess, who's now dead. Because he's a rogue, he's a rebel.
She has a type, but no.
Yeah. I think they could have written Poe to just be
You can't.
If anything, I think they should have made Poe Leia's other son.
You just said something that clicked in my head, and I was like, what? That's weird. You said that's like her son that she never had, but it also reminds her of Han Solo. That's a creepy vibe right there.
Kind of. But I think Poe could have just been written as the other son of Leia and Han. It could have been Kylo Ren's
That would have been interesting.
younger or older brother. Preferably younger.
The stepbrother
Or something. Someone who like didn't really want to deal with the Force, but is still, the Force makes him a better pilot. And then Rey,
like Luke. No, was Luke a good pilot?
Yeah, Luke's a great pilot. So is Anakin.
Yeah.
Even though all they do is spin around. I like how Kylo
did the spinny thingy.
That was his best move. Just I'll do a spin. That's
this is. I don't understand the spinning and shooting. Isn't it still heading the same direction?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the physics of starfighters. But yeah, I don't know. Poe, I like him all right. He's just a character.
Yeah. I think my favorite moments throughout the whole movie were the Force. Like everybody being connected through the Force.
Yeah.
Like they all had they would sense each other or interact with each other.
Yeah, the secret communications between Rey and Kylo Ren, those are kind of fun.
The funny one, can you just put a shirt on?
It's like,
and
no.
he's like not even answering. He's just like standing there like, oh,
yeah.
Grumpy.
And then Snoke kind of being like, oh, Kylo Ren got out of the shower. Let me link their minds together right now. Oh, yes, I'll tempt her with this man with his nipples. Kylo Ren nipples. I'm surprised he doesn't have like a tramp stamp of Darth Vader. Actually, this
maybe
is probably
it's
why
on his back. We didn't see it.
That's why his pants were so high. To hide that giant tramp stamp he has. He's like, why do I sound like the Emperor, but I'm Snoke? But anyway.
Yeah. It was something. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was funny. Another cool part was like Kylo and Leia sensing each other.
Oh yeah,
when they passed.
And it was up to Kylo to make his decision whether or not he wants to kill Leia and like let the past die. But then a bunch of TIE fighters blow the hell out of the bridge.
And she just like pops out.
Yeah, and knowing that Carrie Fisher is dead now and like she won't be in episode 9, I thought we're gonna kill Leia like this. She's gonna float into space and die.
Damn.
This is depressing.
But she didn't die.
No, apparently the whole time she was supposed to pull herself into the bridge again and just be out in a coma for a majority of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
I wish it was more Leia.
It really stole the spotlight from her. And you know that the way the trilogy was going to go, it was Han Solo gets a movie to instill knowledge onto the new characters. Mm-hmm. Luke gets a movie to pass the torch, and then Leia was going to get episode 9 to pass the torch on to whoever, anyone else, Rey, Poe, Finn.
They might get to still do that, I hope. Maybe,
in some kind of different way, but not
she got to do a bit of the recording for episode 9, didn't she?
I think what they either said that they left some stuff on the cutting room floor, and they're just going to put that into 9, or they're just not going to have her at all in 9, which is really weird. And it's going to mess up the rhythm of this. Mm-hmm. And it's going to feel more disjointed than it already feels. I don't know if I feel like this movie's disjointed just because I know Carrie Fisher's dead, or just because it is disjointed already.
I don't know. I feel like instead of having like things resolved, it feels like all over the place.
No, but that's what the middle chapter kind of should feel like. It feels like all our characters are in a weird spot, and then 3 is going to resolve that.
I don't like it. I feel like I'm contradicting myself right now. Like I'm saying I like it and I don't like it, and then there's like things that I like about the chaos and things that I don't like. And I said for some reason that I wanted more chaos. It's really weird. Like I feel like a lot of things were just off. I think that's my problem with this, is just this whole movie feels disoriented. Kind of.
And do you think it's because it doesn't meet your expectations, or because it went in a different way, or...
Like, okay, I'm going to say this. I'm just going to do this quickly, I guess. Action scenes were best. Like, that was the whole highlight of the whole movie, was the action scenes. Having Luke fight, having Kylo Ren and Rey fight together, having, I guess, Snoke die, but, I mean, he could have been a better villain throughout the whole thing. Having seen Leia use her force power, because we've never seen her use it, right?
Yeah, not in like a physical kind of way.
Yeah,
but
and she was able, we know that she has some sort of connection to it. I can't think of anything that's good about this. I felt like there was a lot of things that were unnecessary. One being with the Rey and the mirror, the casino thing, having Poe be so rebellious. Get it, you're a rebel. Rose could have been better. Not saying she was bad. Having women not be so irritating. Like, I get it. They had a higher ground, they had higher power, but the men could have listened.
Higher ground.
They could have listened to them.
Yeah.
Instead, like, you just felt annoyed with everybody. I felt annoyed with Luke, with Rey, with Leia, with Poe, with Finn, with Rose. Like, everybody was just so annoying throughout the whole thing. The only thing that felt like, okay, this is a set and ground character, was Kylo. I felt like he's built on chaos, so we already know who he is. He was like literally the only thing stable in that story for me.
His inner struggle, conflict.
I felt like he only wanted everything to revolve around Kylo, and that was his only ground character in this.
Maybe.
Like, if you think about it, Kylo was like the most setted character.
He was...
Even though it doesn't have a real setted backstory, like, or continuation story. Like, we don't know what he's going to be in the next one, what his drive is, what his purpose is, what is going to happen in the next movie. Yeah. We just know that all these characters were annoying, rebellious, doing crazy things. There was nothing really to them. I felt like I was watching a movie through distortion, I guess. Like, there was something to it that I couldn't connect. Like, I was watching it, but I felt off about it, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
I felt like there was something, like, some weird wall, like, that was not letting me connect to it. I was watching it, I was loving it, but it wasn't what I felt like.
Yeah, on like an emotional level, you couldn't really connect with the characters.
Yeah, I mean, I had those little smirks, like those, that's funny, or
but those are just jokes.
Those are all like moments for action or for like well-placed jokes or something. That's great, but the story is the purpose of this movie, and it felt flat.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up. It feels like just a continuation of the prologue, which is The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is like a build-up to this, but this feels like more build-up to something that should be coming up later, like Episode 9, 10, 11, and 12. Like, this feels like stepping stones and not standalone stories. Like, you could watch Episode 5 or 6 or A New Hope, and you can get a good full story out of that. And this one is kind of just a segment that you pulled out from a movie. Like, this whole movie feels like a segment of a movie rather than something that stands on its own. And Kylo Ren, now that you're bringing it up, I do feel like he had the most story to him. He had the most development, kind of, and Rey was just there to be a tool for that development. Rey is the golden child. She's the one that everyone has hope in, and Kylo Ren's like just thrown aside by Luke, thrown aside by his mother, by the Resistance, and now he's almost thrown aside by Snoke until he kills him. And also, I love the fact that Snoke got killed, just because I hate Star Wars theories. Not the YouTube channel Star Wars Theory. I like that guy. But I hate online theories about, like, who is Snoke? Where does he come from? Who are Rey's parents? Where do they come from? What's the deal with that? This, it throws that out, and it's like, no, none of this matters.
So I felt like that was done on purpose, though.
I felt like that was Rian Johnson being like, I don't care about this shit. Let's throw this aside. So Snoke, who's introduced to be such a bad guy, such a terrible threat, is killed off by your beginning villain. Your villain who's on his way to something greater. And it kind of goes with the whole apprentice kills the master. It kind of feels like Sidious killing Plagueis. So if they do another trilogy after this, which is like 10, 11, 12, I feel like Kylo Ren's going to be the only character to continue, while Rey could be killed off Finn, Poe that could be killed off, but Kylo Ren could be the new threat with a new set of characters to try and fight him. This is Kylo Ren's ascension to be evil or to be good. I still like the idea of Rey going bad and Kylo Ren going good, and like they could be fighting in the next trilogy or something, because it just could go that way. And I feel like Daisy Ridley is really tired of Star Wars already, even though after 2 movies she's been the big main character, but I think she knows that her character is just there to be a stepping stone or a tool. And not a real character. She's perfectly balanced to be the good equivalent to Kylo Ren's bad, and not really a character. She's just a counterweight, and that's it.
Plot device?
She's a plot device. And I heard a lot of criticisms, or not criticisms, but I heard a lot of people praising The Last Jedi for making Rey more than just a plot device. But this one makes her more of a plot device.
Yeah, it really
And the
does.
real struggle is between Luke and Kylo Ren. And I would rather see a series with Luke trying to redeem Kylo Ren.
And I felt like there could have been more with that. I mean, the whole point of this movie was the rage between Kylo and Luke. There's no freaking resolution for that. He just dies out, like, I'm not gonna say off screen, but it was...
He dies in a weird spot that has no... You don't know if he's dead. He's a Force ghost, probably, like Yoda.
I felt like there could have been more, what the appropriate word be, like, momentum towards his death.
Yeah, he had one kick-ass scene, and then he dies. But he doesn't really die. He becomes one with the Force, and we know that's not the end. And he'll probably be haunting Ben Solo from beyond the grave.
He can be like, boo! And then disappear. And then be like,
Hey, kid.
boo! Yeah! It just makes him go crazier.
Yeah. There's one thing I wanted to bring up, which has nothing to do with the story, but it's the CGI Yoda puppet.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was really
I thought I was
weird.
watching an old movie again.
But it's like, it's CGI meant to look like the puppet Yoda from Empire, because even the way his mouth moves, it looks like a puppet.
What
And
if it was a puppet?
Or what if they just use the old puppet and try to CGI that or whatever?
Yeah.
The first time you see Yoda is really off-putting.
That's why George Lucas was like all happy about it. He's like, Yoda's back.
I actually like this. I would have made this puppet a little bit... Why does George Lucas sound like Nicolas Cage? No, but George probably was like, oh, that's pretty good. I would have enjoyed that. I would love to do a CGI Yoda. I don't know. Well, he did do a CGI Yoda. That was episode 2 and 3. And the Clone Wars. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think Hayden Christensen's going to be a Force ghost?
No?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll use... Because they always revert back to their young characters, right? When they're in the Force?
Not always. That was introduced in the special edition.
Would
Ewan McGregor put on like some like old man makeup to look like what's his name? I can't remember his name right now. I'm blanking. But it'd be weird to see Ewan McGregor wearing old man makeup to look like old Obi-Wan.
And then can you imagine what's his name? Stan?
Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan. Yeah, like
As Luke?
As young Luke.
No, I think a lot of people would rather have Mark Hamill.
I would have Mark Hamill.
Unless
too.
something happens to Mark Hamill between now and
Stop!
episode 9.
Don't make me sad.
Yeah.
Because there was this weird article that I read that he was in a wheelchair some time ago.
He was, but that was like a TMZ thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they always like to like blow things out of proportions.
I hope so.
Yeah. Any more thoughts?
That ending!
Oh, yes.
Did that kid like pull the broom towards him?
I don't know. I heard a lot of people gasp. Like it.
I know, it's like, ah! Because I think that's what made probably my head like think it was.
Because I was like, that's weird that kid... he didn't do that. But then I was thinking like, he probably did. And my brain just doesn't want to think it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know. Suddenly there's like more kids with power with the Force.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about Crate? We kind of glossed over that.
Who?
The planet, Crate. The salt planet.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
It was meant just for color.
For the contrast in the battle. It's
so much death.
It's the white, which is Luke.
I actually wanted Finn to just go straight into that thing and blow up.
Yeah, the cannon.
He could have died right there. And then Finn and Rose, like that interaction, and then Poe and Rey, just no.
Poe and Rey, if they want.
Can there be no romantic feelings in this? Just please let there be war.
Star Wars is all about romance, though.
But Star Wars could just be about wars. That's literally in the freaking title. Star Wars.
I know, but Star Wars is a space opera, and you need romance. because you always have the thing between. In the first one, it's romantic tension between Luke and Leia before they were brother and sister. And then in episode 5, you have Han and Leia. In episode 6, you have romantic tensions. And the prequels are all about romance. Episode 7 has no romance. It has Finn having a crush on Rey.
But I felt like in this movie, I felt like Finn and Rey had more of a brother and sister connection.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly felt it. Like, especially like when he sees her and hugs her, and I'm like, oh, it's like
It's just the
seeing
hug.
your sister again.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'd be fine if Rey and Poe hooked up.
No, I would not. Fuck Poe.
I like Poe.
Fuck the police.
The more I think about it, the more I like Poe, just because I like the whole like Bruce Campbell kind of.
He's too cocky. I don't like that kind of character. He has too much character compared to the rest of the actors.
He feels like he needs to be in a different series, or like.
That was something I was gonna bring up. This feels like it could have just been a TV series, like just one season of Star Wars, and that was it.
Yeah. The best compliment I could give this movie is that it's a really good episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars, but it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It feels like a storyline in The Clone Wars, the TV show. It feels like a storyline that could be expanded upon in like a Resistance show or a First Order show instead of being its own movie. It feels like that. I don't know, Poe could have like a whole season of this on his TV show. Poe has more charisma than all these other actors, but I think in the same way that Harrison Ford had a lot more charisma than Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill in the originals. And that's because Oscar Isaac is an actual actor who's had lots of gigs before this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Daisy Ridley's
But I
a
feel like he
newcomer.
has more of a fan base. That's why they put him on screen more.
Poe?
Poe?
I think Poe is like way less fans than Rey.
Maybe we're looking at things differently, because I've seen a lot more girls and I guess guys too fanning over him. For Finn and Rey, there has always been like a huge like 50% of like angry, annoyed people with them, or people liking them. They always have they have a higher popularity because people always contradict each other with their arguments and everything, right?
Yeah.
But with Poe, everybody can like Poe because he's a rebel and he's on the good side. There's no breaking to this character. So
But
people really swoon over him.
He's also the most normal person in this trilogy. He's just
like Harrison.
Yeah, he's like, that's why he's the Han Solo of this trilogy.
And I didn't like Han Solo. I like Harrison when he was
Indiana Jones?
Yes, there you go. Indiana Jones.
How do you not like Han Solo? Oh my god, my heart's breaking right now.
I like Han Solo.
I don't know who you are anymore.
Whatever.
And then you just start force choking me.
There's too much of that too.
Yeah.
Poor what's his name?
Hux.
Hux. So bad for him, and especially towards that when they were on the salt planet, and the guy's like, "Yes, sir."
Hux gets it from Snoke. He gets it from Ren. If he was with any other character who could use the Force, he'd probably get a rock thrown at him by Rey. Hux could be a threat, but he's most likely just the Moff Tarkin of this trilogy.
I feel like that's going to be Kylo's downfall, is from within his own forces.
Yeah, his own ranks.
Yeah.
You
shouldn't anger somebody within your forces. Like, you should work together. But that's his problem. He works alone, just like Harrison.
Kylo Ren.
Sorry, I mean Han.
Yeah. Kylo Ren's like a character I want to see him be more. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they have enough movies to make him more of what he needs to be.
Yeah.
Because we have one more movie in this trilogy. If they go for 10, 11, 12, he's going to have to be something better, something different, bigger.
It has to be bigger.
He could be the Palpatine of this series. He could be the one who's like...
We're going to get more Jedis, aren't we? More Force users, I guess.
Yeah.
That's something else that we didn't talk about. The books.
Yeah, the books, which were apparently burned, but not really, because they're on the Millennium Falcon.
Which was weird. How?
I don't know, Yoda.
The Force?
Rey.
Everything, Force.
Yoda burnt that tree for no reason.
Oh. To teach Luke a lesson?
To teach Luke a lesson. Because it's all about... Yoda is teaching Luke lessons from beyond the grave. And I love that.
And he's still strong as hell, burning a tree with lightning. Yeah. That felt very biblical?
Yeah, biblical in a way. The burning bush, kind of. God speaking through Yoda. I'm surprised there's no God in Star Wars. Just the Force.
Yoda's a god.
Yoda,
No.
I don't know.
Yoda's the god now.
Yoda's a deity.
Is he gonna come back to another movie? I really kind of hope this was the last we see of Yoda.
That's the thing. They're doing a lot of prequels now. So you can have as much Yoda as you want. Also, he's a Force ghost, so he can come back as much as they want to bring him
don't
in.
like characters that speak in riddles.
Oh, don't worry. This is Star Wars. There's going to be a million more characters that speak in riddles. There's going to be a million more mysteries. There's going to be a million more characters who are light and dark and so conflicted on the inside, but not really.
Oh, there was something funny I kept thinking about. I was like, hey, did we ever get number 3, the third rule?
Oh, the third lesson? The third lesson was to lift rocks. The third lesson was inside the whole time.
The third lesson could be anything you want it to be.
Yeah, pretty much. Carrie Fisher, this is her final on-screen performance as Leia. I think it was pretty good. Very weird that she had to be away for half the movie. But I can dig it. She and Mark Hamill had one last scene together.
I have something to say about some of the costume design.
At Star Wars, there's a lot of weird costumes.
No. I literally felt like Carrie Fisher when she was slightly in the coma, like recuperating, I guess. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It looked like she was like dressed in tissues.
Kind like a mummy. Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like, like paper towels. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Like even like the printing on it reminded me of like
paper towels. They went to the grocery store, they got a lot of Bounty, and they're like, here, it's super absorbent, Carrie, wear this. And it's like, are you gonna tape my boobs like in episode 4?
That's what I was gonna say.
And they're like,
and then having Purple Lady,
Holdo.
Yeah, her. Why, if you are like, I guess if you're in the higher ranks, why you gotta dress like that? Why can't you dress like the rest of everybody in the ship? You have to look like you can wield a goddamn gun.
Also, you should...
Like, even Carrie Fisher looks like she can wield a gun and shoot you. I mean, she did. She shot Poe.
She's dressed like that with, like, no rank on her, and it's really confusing. Meanwhile, Carrie Fisher in the last one had, like, this actual vest with the rank on it and all this stuff. Mon Mothma, I think she had some stuff on her. And this dress is, like... It made her feel like a bad guy.
Yeah.
It made her feel like a very villainous, which I guess was the point. It was like a misdirect to make her feel like, oh, she's not really trying to save everyone. She's just trying to stall for time. She's saving herself. But then the big reveal, oh, she's really trying to save everyone.
Yeah.
It was like a diversion plan. And the whole mission with Finn and Rose really was pointless.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it makes me upset.
I kind of want to say this whole movie was pointless.
Kind of.
Except for Luke. Luke was the only thing.
The only part.
That's all we needed.
Yeah, they should have focused on Luke and Rey and then Kylo.
And they could have held all this other stuff in another movie.
Yeah, if we had 2 hours of Luke and Rey
and
Kylo and the struggle between those three characters, and sometimes cut back to what Poe and Finn were doing, that would have been fine. I would have had like no problems, no qualms with that. So final thoughts. What do you think?
I like it and I don't like it.
Same here. I really enjoyed it the first time. Looking back on it the morning after, I'm full of regret and sorrow.
Same.
And I feel like I ate too much popcorn. And do they put something in popcorn to make you like Star Wars movies?
I think it was something in the soda.
It was something in the soda. Man.
Or maybe they like secretly release things in the air.
There's a secret gas in the theater that makes you like Star Wars the first time you watch it. But when you get away from the gas, you're just like, man, there's so many flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
I can't see past them. I'll buy it on Blu-ray or watch it on Netflix when it goes up. But I'm probably going to be disappointed again.
Or Redbox it.
Redbox it. No, it's Star Wars. Everyone's going to buy it on Blu-ray.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I ain't buying it for you, that's for sure.
Oh, I'll buy it and I'll be like, oh, it's going to be so great.
And then you watch it and you're like, I regret my life. My choices.
Yeah. But so far, I think this new trilogy is just a really good episode of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I felt like I marathoned a show.
It feels bizarre. It feels like a weird fan fiction almost.
Like The Cursed Child?
Like The Cursed Child feels like fan fiction. It's just...
Like there were some good parts and then the rest just feels off.
Yeah.
A lot of things felt out of character. That's the best way to explain it.
Yes. I enjoy some of the out of character moments for Luke because it shows he's flawed, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Yeah, but we're probably going to continue this conversation on the Dawn of Nonsense podcast.
Yeah.
Because we're invited to talk to them about Star Wars, too. Well, let's hope that goes a little bit better than this one.
Because you and I have different opinions.
Yeah. Oh, we're probably going to
argue.
But
maybe I'm turning you a little bit towards my side.
You've tempted me with the dark side. I'm finally turning over. I'm becoming a Knight of Ren.
I sparked something in there.
Yes. It wasn't hope. It was cynicism. I am now cynical. I hate Star Wars now.
I don't want you to go that far because I don't hate it. So
I enjoy Star Wars. There's plenty of stuff to enjoy. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of stuff to hate and criticize and loathe. But for the most part, it's a part of, I guess, who I am. Mm-hmm. I enjoy good and bad Star Wars. Well, I enjoy making fun of bad Star Wars, and I enjoy watching good Star Wars. So, just a quick reminder, we're going to be on the Dawn of Nonsense podcast probably next week.
Yeah.
To talk about Last Jedi with all those guys. You can follow them at dawnofnonsense.com. If you enjoyed our podcast, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe. We have plenty of great discussions, podcast reviews. We do this a lot, at least once a week. Mm-hmm. Andre and I argue or agree about stuff. Sometimes argue a lot more than agree.
It feels like it's more like a debate of me trying to convince you.
Yeah,
or you trying to convince me.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince you something's good. You try to convince me it's bad. Sometimes I listen. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not convinced.
Sometimes we just stay at that.
We meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be it for today. I'm Marco.
And I'm Andrea.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.